Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a coin that many Australians once carried in their pockets every single day, the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin. At first glance, it may just look like an ordinary piece of change, dulled by decades of circulation. But when we dig deeper, we discover that this coin is more than just 20 cents. It's a snapshot of 1970s Australia, a tribute to unique wildlife, and a symbol of the era of Queen Elizabeth II. Even in circulated condition, the 1977 20-cent piece has a story to tell. The history of the 20-cent coin. The 20-cent coin was introduced in 1966, the same year Australia adopted decimal currency and retired the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. It replaced the florin, which was worth 2 shillings, and became one of the most practical coins in daily use. By the time we reached 1977, the 20-cent piece was already a familiar and trusted part of Australian currency. It was used for everyday purchases, from a newspaper to a loaf of bread, or a bus fare to school. For millions of Australians, it was a coin they encountered multiple times a day, quietly becoming one of the workhorses of the nation's money system. Obverse design. Queen Elizabeth II. Turning to the design, the obverse, or the front of the coin, features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1977, the effigy used was created by Arnold Machin, a sculptor whose work was also featured on stamps and coins throughout the Commonwealth. This portrait shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a simpler and more graceful depiction compared to later portraits. It captures the Queen in her middle years, radiating both dignity and approachability. For Australians in 1977, her presence on the coin was a reminder of the nation's ties to the Crown, even as the country's identity grew more independent and uniquely Australian. Reverse design. The platypus. On the reverse of the coin, we find one of the most beloved designs in all of Australian coinage, the platypus, sculpted by Stuart Devlin, who served as the official goldsmith to the Queen. The platypus is shown swimming through stylized water, its sleek body gliding with ease. Surrounding it are swirling lines that suggest ripples and motion, bringing a sense of life to the coin. The choice of the platypus was perfect for the 20-cent piece. This strange and wonderful animal, a monotreme that lays eggs yet is still a mammal, represents the uniqueness of Australia's natural world. Even on a small piece of copper nickel, the platypus captures the imagination and celebrates national identity. Specifications of the coin. The 1977 20-cent coin was struck in copper nickel, with 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 11.3 grams, measures 28.65 millimeters across, and has a smooth edge. These specifications gave the coin durability, which is why many examples from this period still survive today, often showing heavy wear but still clearly recognizable. When freshly minted, these coins had a bright silvery sheen. But after years of circulation, they often take on a softer gray appearance, with darker tones in the recessed areas and lighter wear on the high points of the design. Circulated condition. A story in every scratch. When we talk about a 1977 20-cent coin in circulated condition, we're talking about a coin that has truly lived its life in the everyday world. The Queen's portrait may show smoothing on the tiara and hair. The platypus design might be less sharp, its fine details fading from years of handling. The surfaces often display tiny scratches, rim knocks, and even slight discoloration from decades in pockets, purses, and cash registers. These signs of wear aren't flaws, they are the footprints of history. Each circulated coin has its own character, shaped by the countless hands it has passed through since it was first struck over 45 years ago. Historical context. Australia in 1977. To appreciate this coin fully, it helps to picture the Australia of 1977. This was a year of change and reflection. Queen Elizabeth II actually visited Australia that year as part of her Silver Jubilee tour, marking 25 years on the throne. At the same time, Australia was growing more confident on the world stage, with cultural and sporting achievements that shaped national pride. In everyday life, coins like the 20-cent piece were constant companions, used by families for groceries, by children for treats at the milk bar, and by commuters for public transport. To hold a circulated coin from that year is to hold a physical reminder of that moment in time. Collector value. From a collector's perspective, the 1977 20-cent coin is not rare. Millions were minted, and circulated examples are still relatively easy to find. In worn condition, Most are worth only their face value. But that doesn't mean they lack importance. For collectors building a complete set of 20-cent coins, the 1977 issue is essential. Higher-grade examples, especially uncirculated coins or proof strikes, can be worth several dollars, and coins with minting errors can attract strong interest. Still, even the most ordinary circulated 1977 coin carries meaning as part of the larger story of Australia's currency. Why it matters. So why does the 1977 20-cent coin matter, especially in circulated condition? Because it reflects both the everyday and the extraordinary. It represents the daily transactions of ordinary Australians, the simple purchases that made up daily life. But it also carries the artistry of Devlin's platypus design and Mackin's portrait of the Queen, tying it to broader traditions of art and heritage. And above all, it connects us to 1977, a year of jubilee, change, and pride. Even worn and scratched, the coin is a small but meaningful bridge to the past. Conclusion. At the end of the day, the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin in circulated condition may not be rare, and it may not carry great monetary value. But its true worth lies in the story it tells. It is a coin that has traveled through time, carrying with it both history and identity. To collectors and history lovers, it's a reminder that even the most common coins can be extraordinary when we take the time to appreciate them. Outro. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the story of the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Do you have a 1977 20-cent coin in your collection? Maybe you've even found one in your pocket change? I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring, and always remember, every coin has a story to tell.